that can be rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So this is a very rare video for me. This is going to be a religion and politics video. The two things you're never supposed to talk about in company because it will always lead to arguments. So these, it's kind of peripherally religion and politics, but okay. The reason I'm making this video because I want to make a prediction, and if my prediction is right, I'm gonna be like Nostradamus. Everybody's gonna be like, "How did you know this?" And I'm gonna because I'm super clever. But here's the thing: I have a prediction model which, since 2016, which is when I developed it, has been at least 80% accurate, probably higher. I got two things wrong. I thought the week of the American election that by the time the election came around that Trump wasn't going to do it, he wasn't going to win, and I was wrong. And that's the last time I'm listening to like logic. That's the core of my my prediction model. Don't listen to logic. And I also thought that the Democrats would not take the House in the midterms, which I was wrong about. I don't know why I'm shouting my failures to everyone. But so here's my prediction model. And I have a friend called Zev who I constantly confound with my prediction model because it shouldn't work, but it does. It does. His prediction model is at like a 0%. Mine's again way above 80%. So what my friend Zev doesn't do is factor God into the equation, or at least my perception on God. Now, it's always a mistake to try and work out what God's motivations are. This is all from my rabbinic religious perspective. If it's not your worldview, fine. It's just look. It's always interesting hearing another person sees the world. It's always a mistake trying to work out what God will do, what God wants, or what God. Well, yeah, you can do know what God wants. You follow the rules. But the 10 commandments, it's not so hard to work out. But what seeing God's divine hand and predicting it is always a mistake. Always a mistake. But it's kind of been working out for me, so I don't know what to tell you. So, because the good Lord moves in mysterious ways, and I think the fundamental core of what it is to be a Jew is a Jew's personal relationship with God. And everybody can have a personal relationship with God, but I think it was best epitomized. I used to work as a madrich. How do you call that? Like a counselor? Like it wasn't a counselor. There was a tour of the Holocaust Memorial in museum in Jerusalem, which I used to work at in the 90s, and I was just like help herding people in. Maybe herding is probably the wrong word, but there was a picture of this French Jew there who just got off a train at a concentration camp, and you can see his bewilderment in his eyes. Like, how can this be? How can this be? How could how can we have been lied to so completely? And how could a loving God allow this to happen? And that's really the core of a relationship, of Jewish relationship with God. It is that a belief that everything is for the good, even if it seems like it's not. Even if it seems like this is the worst thing ever. Even if you're getting out of a train at Auschwitz and you're going to be murdered within the next couple of hours, along with everybody you've ever known, after having like misery for the last few years. Even at that point, you maintain a belief that everything God does for you is for the good. Fine. So I don't know where was I going with that. I can't even remember. Anyway, so it's trying to work out. Basically it's impossible to try and work out what God's thinking. Because oftentimes you will meet these things that are just impossible. So I know if you're an atheist out there, you're going to go, yeah, of course, because God doesn't exist. And okay, fine, that's your belief system. This is a fraction of my beliefs, and there are many other reasons why I would believe God to exist. But essentially, it's the Jewish word is emunah. It's called emunah or faith, which is that it's kind of like, okay, you know what it's like. Okay, this again, if you're not religious, this is just an insight into our worldview. But a lot of the time, having faith is like falling backwards and letting a friend catch you. You know that you put faith in your friend. So I found in my life that that's what God wants me to do often, and I think it's a test of faith. Anyway, all this is so so I suspected. So okay, so we have a massive cultural divide through Western society. I think that cultural divide essentially comes out between if you like biblical values, Judeo-Christian biblical values, you think they're good, think they're positive, or if you hate Judeo-Christian values, biblical values. So so if you hate it, you're gonna hate any mention of the word Christmas. You're gonna want to say Happy Holidays. Yeah, guess whatever. You're gonna hate the idea that men and women are distinct and unique. You're gonna hate any biblical idea, and so Trump has become the leader of the pro religion, of the pro biblical values side of this conflict, which is really weird. Which is really weird because Trump's a kind of scuzzy guy. I think everybody knows, any eyes in the head can really see he's look. Bottom line, most men like to have sex a lot and have as much sex as they can and with as beautiful women as they can. Trump is no exception. He just has more opportunities being very wealthy, being wealthy and powerful. Look, if you hate Trump, I'm sorry, but that you would have given up running that election campaign. I would have given up. We would all given up. He kept going. That stamina is just, I think, is just objectively impressive. But so Trump has become the standard bearer for biblical values, which is really weird. But if you know the Bible, it's not weird at all, because whenever there's a messianic figure, which I call like a leader of a contingent intent on embracing biblical values. Whenever you have a messianic figure, which again, I think is so funny, it always has to come from a place where you would never suspect it coming from, because there are ethereal forces in the world. There's something called the Satan, as Christians call it, the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, which, if anything, is obviously going to be for the good of the world, then they attack it. But when they see Trump, they think, "Oh, he's a scuzzy real estate guy. Why would I attack him? He's exactly what I want." Just in the same way that King David, who was one of the earliest messianic figures, came from Book of Ruth, which they come from Moab, I think, which is Moab. If you know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, the only survivors was Abraham's nephew Lot and his two daughters, who had thought that the world had ended. They didn't think that it was just Sodom and Gomorrah that got destroyed. They thought it was the entire universe. Anyway, so this is all going to tie in, I promise you. So the each night one of them slept with their father so they could repopulate the world. And so these kids were born from incest, and they were very open about it. One was called Moav. It means from, Av, my father, and I can't remember what the other one was called. Anyway, but the King David descends from that line. So, we've got a line that's born through incest, and made a kind of a scuzzy people. Moab were kind of scuzzy people. The Yetzer Hara, the Satan will go, I'm not going to worry about fighting that. Those guys are on my side. So I think it's a similar thing with Trump. So essentially, again, according to my worldview, the human beings have almost complete free will, complete freedom to do make whatever choices they want to make. One of the few areas that God intercedes is in choosing the kings and leaders and prime ministers of the world, and I kind of see that kind of clearly. I think Obama was clearly chosen. If you remember, if you're around during his election, the reason he got elected was because you had this massive financial crash, like, was it 2 weeks before the election, which Bush was pretty much responsible for, and then he had momentum. So it was it wasn't getting the nomination. It was a very unusual series of events. It was a very unpredictable series of events. And now we're in a series of unpredictable series of events, unless you're me. So here's my prediction. This whole impeachment thing, which is, I think, utter BS, just complete nonsense. I mean, I don't honestly. What it's like Hunter Biden, like Joe Biden's son, is not a frighteningly wonderful business person. He was paid a lot of money to give influence over the vice president of the United States, his father. It also didn't Hillary's campaign actually go to the Ukrainian embassy to get dirt on Trump? Like, I don't see how that's any different. But okay, fine. And it's just become kind of farcical, this impeachment push. But hearings are happening. Was it this week? Next week? So here's my prediction, that it's going to completely blow up in the Dems' faces, the Democrats' faces. They're going to be laid to look utterly foolish, and it's going to really, really, really hurt them in the election. Not that I don't think they had a chance. That's my prediction. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to delete this video, so nobody will ever know. But I'm believing that because that seems to me to be what a divine sense of humor and justice is like. Yeah, a divine sense of humor and justice is very much like that sort of thing happening. God kind of likes the Wile E. Coyote form of divine punishment, where they set a trap and it blows up in their faces. So fine. So I just want to get this video out there now, so there is a record where I can turn back and say, "Aha! Told you so." My prediction model strikes in. So my prediction model is essentially based on what I think God's personality is and what I think he likes and he doesn't like, which is crazy and it's terrible. And even if you're religious, you shouldn't do that. But he's working. So what can I do? So I just want to share that with the world. But if you hate this video, thank you for listening for so long. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And on this one, let me know what you think. I'll be intrigued. Thanks so much for listening.